In Galatians chapter 1, Paul says, I'm not trying to win the approval of people. If pleasing people were my goal, I wouldn't be a servant of Christ. There's a truth there that I want us to get, and that is to consider our company that we keep. Let me tell you a story of a spider who built a web in an old house, and he kept it so clean and shiny so that the flies would stop by and patronize it. And the minute he would get a fly or a customer, he would clean up after him and make sure that it was all taken care of, and so that other flies wouldn't get suspicious, you see. Well, one day, a particularly intelligent fly come flying by and saw the web, and the old man spider called out, "Come on in and have a sit." But the fairly intelligent fly looked in and said, "No, sir, I am not going to land there. I don't see any other flies in your house, and I'm not going to go in alone." And so he takes off and leaves, and as the fly leaves, he looks down on the floor and sees a bunch of happy dancing flies dancing around on this brown piece of paper on the floor. And so he zoomed in for a closer look, and sure enough, they just seemed delighted. And he wasn't afraid if there were lots of flies there. So he's just about to land, and a bee come buzzing by and said, "Don't land there, that's fly paper." The intelligent fly said, "Don't be silly, that many flies can't be wrong." Well, maybe you've been there and realized the error of the fly. You know, studies overwhelmingly show that peer pressure is one of the most powerful influencers in our lives, in all of society, whether we're 8 or 80 years old. In fact, one study even showed a subject would continue administering what they believed was a painful shock, even though it wasn't a painful shock, to a person in another room, if a team of experts was telling them to continue that was necessary. I want you to take a minute and watch this illustration of the power of social conformity.
We set up a hidden camera experiment to see if this woman would stand up at the sound of this tone, simply because everyone else is. You might be thinking you'd never go along with this. Or would you? After just 3 beeps, and without knowing why she's doing it, this woman is now conforming perfectly to the group. But what happens if we take the group away?
Elaine, please.
Okay, now she's alone. The crowd is gone and nobody is watching her, except our hidden cameras. What do you think she'll do? She's now conforming to the rules of the group without them even being there. Now, watch what happens when we introduce another outsider who doesn't know the rules.
Have a seat and they'll be out in just a couple minutes. Great, thanks so much.
Everybody was doing it, so I thought I was supposed to.
Think she'll teach the new guy what to do? We kept the cameras rolling as more unsuspecting patients arrived. And slowly but surely, what began as a random rule for this woman has now become the social norm for everyone in this waiting room.
Pretty crazy, right? But we've all been there. We've all done it, whether we knew it or not, it's happened to us. Conformity is not always a bad thing. It's how we become socialized, but it can, of course, lead us to doing wrong as well. It can actually trick the mind by rewarding it and feeling more comfortable. Like the lady said, once I began to just roll with it, I became comfortable. Psalm 1:1 says, "How blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the path of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers." Sometimes we need to take a look at the sphere of influence that we're hanging around. Do we need to make some hard decisions? Is our life at stake? Is our family at stake? There's a challenge in Scripture that says to come out from among them and be separate. There's times when that decision needs to be made, especially if we're dealing with addictions or recovery. We're in recovery and struggling with different issues. Sometimes we need to separate ourselves from that influence that's not helping us. Maybe it's continuing to cause us to sin. Maybe we give it a try, and they're good people, they're good friends, but they lead us the wrong direction. So my encouragement to you is to be strong. Consider your company. So instead of asking if something's popular, ask first if it's right. Don't let others pressure you into doing the wrong things. Seek God's way first, no matter what the others are saying. God bless you.